Welcome to the Guilty Party.
All right, we're here.
Well, after freaking, was it like 20, 30 minutes of trying to work out tech issues, we are back, ladies and gentlemen.
I feel like everything in Texas is just not working properly after that snowstorm. Not even Texas.
Yeah, let's start out with that. What in the hell was all that Texas blizzard? 'Cause that's what it was. Not to everyone else. I was talking to one of my buddies from Canada, Josh McIntosh. He used to play with TFK and all those guys. He was like, yeah, we have like 6 to 7 feet snow drifts. I'm like, dude, we've shut down schools when it gets 3 inches of snow.
Well, dude, just like everything in my area, I don't know about yours, but everything in my area is like out of food. People are just losing their minds. There's nothing at grocery stores. Like it's always the end of days, like when stuff like this happens. And I'm like, me being from Colorado, like people, all it did was snow, like that's it. And, now there's pileups everywhere. Just people are completely losing their minds. Also, and maybe this is just a Texas thing because they're not used to cold. Everyone's a dick, and I don't get it. I just had dinner at Mod Pizza, which is like the happy place you could ever go to. They make delicious food, and you can get a beer. I mean, cool concept. Why is everyone pissed? Like it made no sense to me. But like, I just feel like everyone's in rare form because Texas was in rare form.
I've never seen that much snow in my life, especially here in Texas. So it was wild to see like 3 or 4 inches, and then it just stay like that forever. And then it got to, I think, record lows. I think -10 or -5 degrees.
Yeah, no, dude.
Wild.
I've never, for sure, in all my years of being in Texas. I mean, I lived in and out of Texas my whole life, but never felt it that cold for sure. Like that was trippy. And then to see, I remember, what did I send you a screenshot when it was like 3 degrees in Fort Worth? I was like, what is going on, man? And of course, dude, you've seen it by now. People are like, this is a government conspiracy. China can control the weather, and they sent it to Texas.
Well, buddy, he sent me that text, and he's like, hey, have you seen the conspiracy of the Texas snow can't melt?
What?
I'm gonna have to see it. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Yes, please. I'm so about this. Well, it did melt, so I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah,
but I mean,
know, right?
I posted this meme the other day that was like this dude, or yesterday, that was like this dude. He's like half of his body is in snow, but the other half he's just in like summer wear. Did you see
someone
that?
Took the video down.
That's amazing.
Oh, wait, hang on. Here it is. I don't know if I can play the. Is it showing up? Hang on.
No, I'm sure it will. But no, dude. I mean, like everyone knew that was a thing that we'll always talk about. Like, remember when Texas snowed? Like, remember when I literally looked out my doorstep and it was Colorado?
Yeah.
Like, oh yes, I'm so ready for this.
Okay.
This is crazy. It's snowing in Texas, but the snow is not melting.
I don't know what will get us kicked off of YouTube, but
hey, let's try.
Let's just try it.
Let's just go for it. It won't melt.
Some bowls?
No. What is going on? I mean, they're not proving anything. I just see ice in a bucket.
I know.
Oh, what are they heating it up? Is that what they're doing? Maybe because you have it on slow burn, asshole. They crank that thing up, Like, I don't know,
Please
man. That's
tell.
exposed. I
something
love.
You have to keep in mind, like when the rain comes down, whatever's in the air is gonna get caught in the water particles. So I'm sure, like if you're near like I don't know, some type of metal plant, anything that goes up in the air that's super light, you're gonna get those types of items.
Well, maybe it's just not snowing because we don't have the proper temperature like it clearly looks like in this video that they don't. But 2 things I want to point out, if you can just real quick go back to that video.
Yeah.
Two amazing things that I hope never go missed from this is, first off, the title just says exposed right out of the gate. Like that is like you are setting the bar so high, and then you come out with this video.
Oh, I know.
And then the user's name is Shangus Khan. 2 points. You get 2 points for that. That's amazing. I want to subscribe just because of the name. So shout out to Shangus Khan.
Let's see, Shangus Khan.
That's
No, the
amazing.
snow isn't government. Okay. Okay, let's see what we got here.
Oh, stand up for the facts. The snow oh my gosh, the snow is generated or fake. Okay.
This is what happens with a snowball when you take a lighter to it. Ice and snow have different physical properties.
Leave it to Texas to come up with some hardcore conspiracies after it snows down here.
That we are the state for that here in Florida. It's not even melting, it's just turning black.
Oh, dude, could you imagine if it snowed like this in Florida?
Oh my God, they would be off the walls with like, who's that? I think it's a senator. Some representative just got elected to, I think the Florida state representative, something like that, and she's a big QAnon. She would just run to hell with this thing.
Bro, some poor soul would be like, oh, it turns out iguana jizz keeps you really warm. And it's like, oh gosh, stop, Florida. Yeah, this is PolitiFact.
I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how much truth there is to PolitiFact, to be honest.
Well, how much truth is there to politics? So
yeah, you put anything polio in there, it's probably not.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, yeah. So anyway, for those who don't know, and if you don't know by now, because we've talked about it so far every minute, it snowed in Texas, and that shit was crazy. And all of my cars, literally today, all of my cars were in the shop because I just don't know if they could handle stuff. But I mean, like all my dashboard lights came on and every vehicle I own. So all my cars went to the shop. Shout out to D&M Motors. They hooked it up, did really good work. But no, it was an eventful day. Just I think the aftermath, the effects that it has on possessions that you have that are in Texas that aren't used to this type of weather, Not only that, like probably people and trees and organisms that live down here. I mean, today was a beautiful day. How was it up your way? Was it like not a cloud in the sky?
It was sunny. I mean, it was started being sunny yesterday, but I think this was the first day with it also being a whole week since all that stuff started happening. That it felt somewhat like a normal day. Like I went out to run a couple errands before dinner, and people seem to be kind of back to normal. I mean, everyone's rushing to the stores and trying to get the new shipments because, I mean, for a good, I think 4 or 5 days, it felt like. I mean, packages weren't getting sent to people's homes.
Oh, yeah.
They cleared out stores. I think we went to the store on Tuesday, and the entire butcher section was wiped out.
Dude, it's
besides
crazy.
gizzards, which is fine with me because who eats gizzards?
Well, that's a great question. Unfortunately, I have some people in my family that are like, what are you talking about? Load them gizzards. But no, I mean, dude, it's trippy. Like it feels like, remember when the pandemic started? Like
that's what it felt like.
That's what it felt like. Yeah. So it was like during the snow and like everyone's losing their minds. Places are running out of food. There was like a couple, I want to say Domino's pizzas here in town that stayed open so they could, feed people. And they were just stressed to the max. Everyone goes there, floods them, runs them out of food in 4 hours. There was like a news report on it. Yeah. And I think it was like all Domino's locations. And so they're obviously all stressed out. Well, now they don't have food. So it's like people are just moving to each one and ransacking it. Right. So it's like, you got food? Boom, done. You got food? Boom.
I think we saw the worst and the best in people during this. I mean, it's not another pandemic. It's just a crazy natural disaster of 2021 trying to compete with last year.
Dude, 100%. Like, totally. Like, the only redeeming quality that I have seen of 2021, well, 2 redeeming qualities, is that 2020 is over, but also cryptocurrencies. They seem to be the only thing that's making anybody happy right now. Like, that's it, right?
But yeah, people were like selling the water at gas stations for like $9 a case.
Oh, yes.
And then when people were like, why are you doing it? They're just like, eh. And then, but then you saw a lot of people that were helping out. I saw plenty of people offer like, hey, if your power's out, it's 30 degrees in your house, come stay at my house. At least we've got, heat and water and stuff like that.
Yes.
My brother and his friend, they were passing out soup just to people just because, like, grocery stores are wiped out. You don't have power. You don't have water, whatever it is. And most of the, the restaurants and fast food, they're not even open. So it's
Right.
like you're stuck with whatever left you have in your house if you can actually cook.
Well, so here we ran out of electricity, we ran out of water for a little bit. But I would much rather be without electricity than water. And I have some friends here that were out of water for 2, 3 days, dude. And to say that stinks is an understatement because just imagine you can't shower, you can't use the restroom. Well, you can, but where's it gonna go?
Did you have a boil water notice at all?
Yeah, but it was only by I want to say like personal friends sending me that on Facebook and stuff. I never really got like an Amber Alert notice, but I heard places did.
Okay.
Did that happen up towards you?
We didn't get it right in my area, but lots of surrounding areas,
Mm.
even North Richland Hills, which is only about a few miles away from me, they got a boil water notice. Plenty of people in North Fort Worth, just crazy stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm always gonna say that it's always smart to boil your water. I mean, it's never gonna be bad, right?
Yeah.
It's actually in when I used to do that a lot. I don't know, maybe hippie phase I went through. It was, I mean, I thought it even tasted better, but yeah, I mean, I heard notices like that went out. But people were even hitting me up like, bro, can I come shower at your place? Like, that's when it gets
Right.
pretty bad, you
Oh
know?
yeah.
And
Absolutely.
but yeah, so I mean, people had to go through some strenuous times. I'll tell you what, it was a great morning for me before all this car trouble that I stumbled upon, because right before I even woke up, I'm like laying in bed and I'm just expecting to see, the movie 2012 right when I walk outside again. And I wake up and the first thing I hear, dude, is birds chirping. And I was like, no shit, like this is gonna be a good day.
Yeah.
And then I walk outside and it was like it was like walking into a dream. It was like, where's the snow? It was literally all gone, except there was a little bit in my backyard. But besides that, I walk outside and I hear birds chirping, not a cloud in the sky. The sun's out and 99% of the snow's melted in my yard. And I'm like,
That's
what
awesome.
yeah, but if you saw it yesterday, you were thinking the world was ending, dude. It was just thick
Oh yeah.
coming down and it was so cold. Like the wind chill yesterday was like agonizing, you know?
Yeah, it was super bad up here. I mean, there was times like our dogs were out in the barn with a ton of hay and stuff like that, and just walking down over there, I'd walk back. I'm like, this doesn't feel natural. Like
Yeah.
it's that freaking cold out there.
Do you think you really got to see the selfishness in people? Like, I'm not trying to say that like Texas is selfish, right? I really love the citizens in this great state, but I do want to point out that I did see a lot of people, especially on Facebook or all social medias, even on my Twitter, Texas residents that were just crying and whining, right? That they didn't have electricity. And then they're like crying and whining to the people that are trying to fix it, like the linemen, that are out there like really working on the stuff. And I don't know, it
Yeah.
was weird.
I think that there was just a lot of frustration in general because of how maybe ill prepared Texas was. And
Yes.
again, it's not necessarily a whole lot of Texas' fault. I mean, we're used to it being, snowing today and then being 100 degrees the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So for us, it's never been like, hey, we're going to have a whole week of just straight, I mean,
Right.
sub 32 degree
Yeah.
cold.
Yeah, it was straight. What did it last? 4 straight days at that?
4 or 5, yeah.
Yeah. But so would you say that this is the fault of the Green New Deal?
I actually had some notes on that, and I don't know enough about how the Green New Deal affects each state in every way. I don't know if it's like a generalized, like a whole country layout, or if it's per state. One of the things I was going to bring up was so AOC is she's the one of the biggest proponents of the Green New Deal, and she's coming down to Houston, I guess, with $2 million.
Oh my God,
in
she's
aid.
coming to Texas.
She's coming to Houston.
Oh, bro.
And do you know who Alan West is?
Alan West. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, let me pull this up.
Wow, I just can't believe she's even stepping foot in this state. This is like it's like your most hardcore Republican stepping into California. You think they would just set on fire?
Yeah. So basically, he is the Texas GOP chairman, and I
Oh,
believe
it's
he
such a
was.
flattering picture.
Yeah. So basically, he's like, "Hey, I hear you're coming to Houston with $2 million. It's appreciated, but it doesn't remove the fact that the Green New Deal, failed Texans." So he's saying since
Interesting.
2006, Texas has given $19 billion in taxpayer subsidies to wind energy companies. Over the past 2 to 3 years, we've tripled our dependence on wind energy to about 25% of our energy system.
Yeah.
And basically what Texas found this week is wind energy and solar are not reliable, dependable, or available energy resources, which makes sense. Because like in Texas, you really see energy and solar more out in the country and just the general state of Texas, but not in the dense populated areas.
Well, I guess my question is, and I wonder if this article will shed light on it, but my question is like, what is she actually coming down to do? Is she coming to propose why the Green New Deal is great?
No, she's coming down with $2 million in aid, supposedly.
Okay, so she's just bringing money.
Yeah, I think it was like donations and stuff like that. And it's basically the last thing he's saying is like, hey, we appreciate your assistance, but we don't want to be part of, basically another political opportunity. If you wanted to be caring about us, just anonymously send the check.
Well, one thing I saw too was a Barack Obama tweet where he was talking about Biden, is going to start helping out Texas. And there's all this now focus on Texas from the Democratic Party, and they want to help. And they're like, tweeting it out publicly, like they're coming. We're not leaving you guys behind, even though you're a state that didn't vote for me. The only thing is we're coming hella late. We're going to come 5 days later. So after all the damage is done, we'll come down and then tell you, we're sorry for what you went through. Like it seemed like, and then she's just bringing money, like, I don't know, dude, like their tactics, man. And obviously I'm not a Democrat, but I'm not a Republican either. I try to find everything. Like I've tried to find a middle ground on anything, but the Democratic tactics, man, they're really politicians. Like they don't hide that. So it's like all political talk. Like we're going to come down with aid. We're going to come down and do this, but we're going to bitch at Ted Cruz for going to Mexico. Also, while simultaneously we're going to show up to Texas that was just under a catastrophic event.
The thing about the Ted Cruz, I think that's funny, is I think really the real reason why they gave him so much crap, which if you haven't seen all the memes, I wish I could...
dude, the memes are gold. I saw one with a margarita. Remember that guy that was a part of like the insertion at the Capitol? And and he's grabbing the podium, Nancy Pelosi's podium. They photoshopped Ted Cruz with a margarita in his hand. Like, dude, with that, oh my God, that's my favorite one so far. But I mean, there's a lot of people that are laughing that off, but there's a lot of people that are trying to drill the point home because it's just like, I don't like Tom Brady.
It's the hypocrisy. So like, think about it.
Exactly.
Like, everyone's made fun of the governor of California and the mayor of Los Angeles for saying one thing but doing another, and when it benefits them.
Boom, you nailed it. That was what I was getting to. So they found their loophole, right?
Yeah. So it's like, okay, for us, Ted Cruz, he is supposed to be like not the epitome of a Texas representative or politician, but he speaks a lot for Texas. So for us, Texas is always like, okay, hey, if someone's gonna suffer, we're gonna suffer together. You know, we're gonna ride this out. And I responded to someone in one of my groups, and I was like, listen, you got to suffer like the rest of us. Don't tell us you care about Texas, and then you're just going to bounce out because it sucks. Because then you're no better than anyone else.
Right.
And granted, like, I know someone was like, well, if I had the opportunity to leave Mexico in the middle of this, I would. I'm like,
who wouldn't have?
Who wouldn't? But at the same time, you're not at a politician level. You're supposed to be working towards us.
Well, yes,
but if you're down in Mexico, you're not going to have the opportunity to work to restore power or whatever needs to be done.
Well, how not? How not, Micah? You think Mexico doesn't have Wi-Fi?
Listen, if I'm going to Mexico, am I really going to be working?
That's a great point too. But
I'm not going to be 3 margaritas deep. Like, oh yeah, sure, yes.
Well, bro, Nancy Pelosi's like 15 margaritas deep, and she hits that podium every day. So, like, my thing is about the Ted Cruz thing. Like, ill time, bro. Ill time to take a vacation when you're a representative of Texas and we're under this whole thing. Like, ill time. And also, I want to state that his neighbor outed him. That's where this all came
Yeah.
from, right? And so, but like my thing is like, what do people think politicians do? Do they really think he can't do his job from Mexico? Because the dude basically does all of his power from what we're using, a laptop and phone call conversations. I'm like, did people really think he was just going to get out there and drive a snowplow and be like, I'm gonna help Texas? Like, I think I mean, people are really like drilling the point home. Like, obviously, dude, ill time. You shouldn't have left to Mexico like at this
No,
time
but
for
it's
vacation.
like in the I guess the necessity of it is like, yeah, you could do your job from anywhere. He could have gone to Europe or Australia and been able to do it. There's no question about that. I think it's just like, hey, perception is everything, and I think you know this as much as I do, that if it looks like that you're really not taking it seriously, to me, to the average person, if they see their politician run out to Mexico, they're not thinking like, oh yeah, I'm sure he's got a great Wi-Fi connection and he's having daily meetings with his team. It's like, no, he left. I'm the one without power. I can't even buy groceries because the store is wiped out. And he thinks, hey, you know what? They're good.
I'm gonna go get some tacos.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I can say that because I've been to Mexico, and every time I've been to Mexico, I've had a taco. And if you don't, you're dumb. So I'm just putting it out there.
And the other thing that I think to bring up is Green New Deal aside, I don't know enough about all that stuff in regards to how it would work with Texas and all the energy efficient things. I think that just Texas has been our mindset is so old school that anything that needs to be modernized, we're kind of slow to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if we had modernized a lot of our energy grids, our response times, our plan of action, I think that we'd have written, been in a better spot for this Texas blizzard, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, and I think that, what we did as Texas, so a lot of people don't know, man, but Texas is off the Federal Reserve for electricity. We're on our own grid, but Governor Abbott did shift to the green, not Green New Deal essentially, but green efficient energy.
Right.
And now that they're like, basically what this is, man, is it's a game of gotcha. Oh, yours didn't work. Oh, Ted Cruz going to Mexico. Oh, this, and that. It's just like tons of just like, well, you suck. Well, you suck. And this is why you suck. Well, this is why you suck. And no one's going, hey, man, time out. My balls are freezing off. Anybody got some heat? Like not one person's gonna like thinking that way. Everyone's just like, well, I'm gonna stay cold because I don't want a Democrat's help. And it's like, well, I got the heat and I'm not gonna give it to you because you're Republican. That's how it feels. If I'm being serious, it's just like it's just this back and forth. Like I play for the Bucks, well, I play for Green Bay or the Chiefs. Like we're in the Super Bowl together. We got to be competitive. Like it's.
I think though we still have seen a good amount of people helping each other, and that was really good to see.
Well, Texans helping Texans is a tale as old as time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm into that. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, if there's one state that helps its citizens and everyone kind of puts their differences aside, it's definitely not Florida. Just putting it out there. I'm just kidding. But anyway, moving on, man. Snow. It's over. It's gone. Cars are in the shop. They're back. We're up and running again.
All right. Amen there.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got some notes. Do you want to talk about how the Mavericks have canceled the national anthem before a game?
Dude, yes, I want to hit on that. So I thought it was very impressive because a lot of people that just follow politics in general are, I mean, you've seen this since the kneeling in the NFL, but a lot of people have boycotted sports in general. Right. And so Mark Cuban coming out saying we are so not into politics being in sports.
And just to interrupt
no,
you
go
for a
for
second. Not the cool thing, but the unique thing about this situation was he didn't even come out and make an announcement. The Mavericks didn't come out and post something like, hey, we're not doing this. They just stopped doing it. And the only reason we knew about it is because they asked Mark Cuban. He's like, yeah, we're not doing it anymore.
Yeah. Okay. So people caught on. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
So which is different because I know a lot of, especially with the NFL, they like to make a big announcement that they're not doing such and such or that they're doing such and such.
Yeah. The NFL thinks they are America sometimes. But, well, I mean, Roger Goodell, but that guy's just on an ego trip, bro, if you ask me, man. But what NFL commissioner hasn't? Anyway, I digress. What I mean by like the NBA thing is, so Mark Cuban, he comes out when that reporter or so asked him, he's like, yeah, we're just not doing it
Right.
anymore. So the media, which they've always done, they love to manipulate stories. They love to carry on things for outrage ratings. Well, they do it again. So how this story was presented to me, who's a researcher, was that the first title I saw, Mark Cuban, very open about not playing national anthem. No context to it. The article was trash. It was more like a hit piece. It was probably written from a right-wing conservative, and I get the frustration, but you have to represent things. You have to represent things in a correct manner. You can't just do
Yes.
hit pieces in today's stuff because people are so quick to call BS. And
Yeah.
then the opposing side is just waiting to out you. So what it came about was that he was so against politics because it's ruining sports. It has. I mean, it's gotten too far into it. Sports used to be a break from reality. People be like,
Right.
why you're so into sports? Why are you so into wrestling? Why are you so into such and such UFC? It's like, because it's a break from the BS, man. There's so many reasons to be outraged every day in America, but you can take a 3-hour break, 2-hour break, 30 seconds if you're a Mike Tyson fan, and you can watch a fight or a game, and you can take a break from reality. And then obviously all the real issues come back. Well, that was his stance. And his stance was just like, it's ruining the game. We don't want to do it. And this is that way no one kneels. No one does this. No one does that, And so he's trying to eliminate the problem from the
That's a
source.
great, I guess observation. I didn't even think about it that way. Like when you remove something like that, it doesn't give anyone the ability to take away or add to any type of political stance.
You eliminate the negative, right?
Yeah.
But it is
That's a good
also
point.
you also create negative by eliminating something that's been set in stone since the dawn of the organization, right?
Okay, so here's my pushback on everyone complaining about the national anthem. When is the last time someone went to a game and as soon as that anthem starts, you're like, here we go. Here we go. I'm proud to be an American. Most of the time when I'm at the game and I see people like doing that, they're like, are we done yet? I've got nachos I'm ready to eat. I've got a beer I just ordered.
Well, that's a spoiled American.
I'm
But
just
you're
saying.
right. But you're right. But I mean, that's kind of where the MLB is really the kings of that. So if you
Yeah.
can imagine going to an MLB game, it's a big deal for the national anthem, the first pitch, the pregame rituals in the MLB are a lot more serious.
They're a
Right.
lot different. I mean, isn't baseball supposed to be America's oldest sport?
Right. Yeah. And so a
So
lot
I
of
mean that makes
yeah.
sense because it's not just an anthem to be an American. It's like, hey, this is tiebacks to what makes America so special that we invented baseball.
Yeah, but you can see the offense, I should say. You could
Oh
see
yeah,
the offense if there's veterans in the crowd that have fought for the country and people are like booing or not caring about the national anthem, or they're just like, I just want to eat these nachos. But the things that they've seen gives you the freedom to enjoy what you're enjoying. And so it basically comes down to perspective, right? And so
absolutely.
so my long-winded point is I really believe Mark Cuban was in the right place as far as perspective. He wanted to preserve the fun and entertainment that is the organization of the NBA, and also the integrity of the Mavericks. Like you come here to take a break because there's so much bullshit in the world right now, you know?
Yeah,
And I think it just got so convoluted, but what doesn't these days when the media gets a hold of it? And they distorted what he said. I mean, it happens all the time. It's the tabloid, right? And there's plenty of research out there that 80% of consuming viewers only read the tabloid and 20% actually read the article, you know? And I mean, that article was trash anyway because it wasn't correct, but it was, and I'm not even going to say the article because I don't even want him to get the viewers, but I mean, that was the first one I saw. And then after every one, and you actually do your due diligence, see what he said, and he's obviously went to and addressed it since then. You
yeah.
actually get to see his real perspective. So what happened after that was that David Stern, the commissioner of the NBA, said, you will play the national anthem.
I saw that. I wondered how
Yeah.
that was going to play out.
Well, and I thought that is a grand move for, okay, you shouldn't, if you're in America and you're ashamed to be American, in my humble opinion, and 75 million others, you shouldn't be in America. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
absolutely.
if you're ashamed to be here, go. Where no one's asking you to stay. You have the freedom to go, unlike the other countries that you so much admire, right?
Mm.
And so, anybody that's outraged that David Stern said you will play the national anthem, like that's weird to me that anybody would be outraged over that. But there are people, obviously. I mean, people are so far removed these days. They just want to be right. They just want the person that they voted for to win, and they don't care about the blood of any other thing out there. They just want to have that win, right?
Exactly.
And so people are just kind of outraged by it. And so what I think is, good on Mark Cuban for trying something new. It didn't work, but good on David Stern for being what a leader is and a CEO of an organization, or what is he, the GM? I don't know, the commissioner. I'm
I can't
sorry,
remember. Yeah.
commissioner. Good on him, man, because this is America. This game is only allowed to be played in America because of our freedoms. And you said, hey, you must honor America because it gives you the freedom to play this game if you are going to be an owner in my league. Like, boom, dude.
Yeah, I mean they've done the same thing. Jerry Jones, I mean he's been a big proponent of everything pro America. I believe that he's issued a thing that all Cowboy members must stand before the national anthem, which is a little funny because I've heard some funny comments about like at games when he's there, like when his kid was standing up and was like, "Dad, you need to get up and put your hand over your chest." He's like, "Oh, I can't. My hair might fall off or something like that." So I think things go both ways, but I think that you should you shouldn't have an issue with someone like, hey, the national anthem. Because at the
Right.
end of the day, for all our faults, for all our negatives, for all the things we've got to work through to be a better nation, that history is what makes us who we are today. It gives
Dude,
you the freedom
100%.
that you can decide to do and be anyone or anything you want to be. You want to identify as a cat or a guy or a girl, you got the freedom to do that.
You got
And
the
I
freedom.
applaud that we all have the freedom to make our decisions as long as we're
Yeah.
not infringing on someone else's,
It's the
things.
land of the
So
free and the home of the brave, right?
it's supposed to
So,
be. So let's keep it that way, everyone.
well, and I still believe the people that even express themselves in ways we don't seem traditional, that is still the home of the brave. Because you're brave enough and you have the freedom to be able to do that. Go to Turkey and try to become transgender. Go to Turkey and try to love the same sex and see what happens. Go anywhere else in the world and try to do everything that you can do in America and see how it works, buddy, because you don't even got to travel over there. Somebody's already done the work for you, and you can click YouTube and see how it goes. And so it is the land of the free and the home of the brave. Even no matter how much you hate America, it's still brave to hate America in America. You still have the freedom to hate America in America because you're free, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like that's kind of like our country was founded upon this revolving door of you can't beat us, we're America, no matter how much you hate it. But I know, and I'll stand by it, man. Good on David Stern and good on Mark Cuban. I think all of their hearts are in the place to want to just become better, like in just want the
Yeah.
sport to become better, want to carry on because 2020 is now bled over into 2021, and we just want. Remember life before 2020, man? Like it wasn't perfect, but it was damn better than this, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I was just
And
thinking about that. it's almost been it's almost been a year since we were about to go on tour back
right.
in 2020 before we got the call. And this is going to be an interesting year to see what actually goes back to normal, what changes, and what different turns all these industries are going to go, including music, art, film, all those kind of industries. It's going to be interesting to see how those play out because we've been seeing a huge shift. Not only how people are getting content, but how content is affecting how we operate in life. So,
Yes.
um, like even with music, I mean, we're playing a festival next month, and what it was supposed to be is shrunken down in attendance just because of regulations and stuff, which makes me wonder. Okay, if this is March, I just saw a tour for Animals as Leaders get rescheduled for I want to say August or September.
Right. I saw that too. Yeah, it's postponed.
So, I mean, I have a feeling that once it gets closer to June, July, it's going to get rescheduled again.
And I feel like Alter Bridge just did the same thing with one of their tours. It's
think so,
postponed to
too.
like August or something, like way down the road, you know. But and that's what we also said. So it is a good testament to our show, because in season 1 we did say that you're going to see these people try to put these tours up, right? They're going to
Yep.
try to land these anchor dates, and they're just going to hope for the best. But you're going to see reschedules. So I mean, like, there's not one tour that's going around that doesn't have a reschedule clause in it, and no one's taking 50% down. Like or no one's giving or paying 50% down because they know they're just going to lose it. It's a losing bet at that point. And so you're seeing a lot more free tours. You're seeing a lot of this, but you're also seeing a shitload of live stream tours.
Yeah.
Content. And you couldn't do that without content. But we are in the e-commerce day, man. We are in the technology era that.
So,
oh yeah, go for it.
Let me ask you this. I was talking with a buddy or someone I got introduced to who owns a studio, and he used to play with a bunch of bands way back in the day, like we all have. And he was asking me, like, what do you think the direction of live streams are going to go? So, like, for instance, I know all these bands. I know Love and Death. They just put out a live stream. I saw a couple of minutes of it. Looked pretty sick. But that's just one live stream. So how are people going to do tours?
Oh, like touring live streams?
Yeah, because, okay, if
I don't
you're
think
the
it's
consumer,
attainable.
I don't think so
Yeah.
either. Why am I going to pay for, let's say 2 or 3 tickets, throughout the year to watch the same live stream over and over again? That might
what are you paying for to watch them, like, play in different clothes next time? Like, oh, he wore a red flannel tonight, and then on Monday it's only $25 because he's wearing a yellow one. It's like, what is there to offer? Yeah, I don't think the tours with live streams is going to be a thing. I think you'll dip in here and there. It'd be like, oh, a big production. Maybe what you will see, though, and I really think that this is going to happen, I think you're going to see like what would be a tour package live stream. So you get like your Love and Death, and Love and Death opens for Ozzy Osbourne, or Love and Death opens for the Jackson 5 because they hologram Michael Jackson up there. I don't know, but you might see something with technology capabilities.
Yeah.
That would have a stacked like tour package up there.
I wonder
on stage.
if they would go like the WWE route. So I don't know if you've been following them or watching them, but they've had their live stream set up where they have like almost like mini TVs set up all around the ring where there's actually people watching. So it feels a little more like a crowd interaction, and that you're talking and seeing someone right in your face.
Oh, interesting. I haven't.
I think the downfall right now of these live streams is there's not enough personal engagement. Like, yes, even if you're talking to the camera and talking about whatever you're talking about, it's not the same energy, I think, than if they had, that type of big production where you had a bunch of TV screens. You can log in, you can see who's watching your stream right now. So I wonder if they're going to take that and go anywhere with it.
Well, and obviously this just as well as I do, is nothing is ever going to come close to the energy of packed in fans in an arena, club, or anything, right? Nothing comes close to that. Nothing comes close to hearing people in unison, not with a delayed latency because their connection isn't good enough. Nothing comes compares to like a unison of the crowd singing your songs or chanting your name if you're a wrestler or a fighter, or and like we got to see it. I'm going to reference the NFL, the Packer game with the Bucks game, rigged, just putting it out there. But I have to. But they actually allowed, I think it was like 8,500 to 10,000 people in the stands. That was the first time something like that had happened all year up to that point.
Like social distancing, or
they were totally and I believe it was all first responders that were allowed across the nation to go to that game or something like that.
Oh,
it was something
that's cool.
It was really cool. It was something to that extent. But because you haven't seen, and obviously the NFL regular season is 17 weeks, so this would be the 17th game because there's a bye week of the Packers year. So 16 games that I had watched all season that didn't have fans in the stands at all. Right. And then you get this one game. Now there's 8,500 people in that one game where it's a fraction of what you would get if in the regular world with, without a pandemic. You would get 60,000 fans. So you only had 8,500 in that stadium. And that, dude, that made a huge difference. Like, it made a huge difference in watching the game. You could see it in the players' body language.
Absolutely, yeah.
There's many post-game interviews where the people were like, man, it felt like 100,000 people in there, you know? So nothing is ever going to come close to the energy of human beings all under the roof for one purpose, to cheer on who they have paid a ticket for, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anything. So this live stream thing, it's like, it's getting people by, it's keeping the bills paid for bands that are doing it, but it is not sustainable.
Yeah, and I think it comes down to two things. One, like you're saying, sustainable from a cost perspective. You know, how much am I have to pitch out in order to see some type of return? But
Yes.
also think about it with the lack of human interaction. I think music and sports especially, and maybe even film in some aspect, it's very much a human connection. When you have that, your brain and your adrenaline just rushes off. I mean, think about every time we go right before on a stage, you know, the 10, 20 seconds before we go on, we hear the crowd, we hear the before music, the lights are starting to dim down, we're getting ready, all the nerves are going on. It wouldn't be the same if there was no one out there.
Bro, just listening to you describe that to me, it just gave me those chills again, man, because nothing beats that feeling of getting ready for game time, you know, like getting ready because here it goes, and then that crowd's waiting for you. Like, just hearing you describe that, man, it takes me back to that was sick. That was always what you looked forward to, and then you carried that adrenaline through the rest of the show, you know.
So all that to say is, do you think that, okay, let's just say that for the next 2 years, we start seeing everything move more and more to a virtual aspect. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know if we're going to see players, musicians, everyone who's in that type of entertainment route have that same type of energy anymore. I think we're going to see a displace. I think we're going to see people like kind of discouraged and just worn down. And I think it's going to seem fake. And I think you're going to see some people start to maybe not even like want to do as much as they used to in the first place.
No, I think that's a fair point, man. I think going on with the more content, the more technology coming out, that touring is really an old school model, right? You had to put out a record, go tour to your blue in the face, because that was the only way you were going to guerrilla market and build your brand. Well, now we're in the e-commerce functionality era now. So everything is online marketing. I mean, how many Amazon store promo ads do you see every day you get on any social media, right? They're just trying to show you how they make hundreds of thousands off their laptop by marketing. And everything is going that route. We just talked about it in the last episode with theaters, right? Now you're starting to see motion pictures make its way straight to your living room, you know, and I think you'll start to see that more. I mean, obviously, and I don't want to repeat the last episode, but obviously the production of compact discs gone, right? So everything's starting to make its way to streaming. And I think slowly you're going to start to see live events more happen that way, because one, there's people that are so traumatized from this COVID thing that they will never respond. They will always be in fear for the rest of their lives because of fear propaganda about this COVID thing. Right now, this COVID thing has killed people, but people are thinking that this is going to be the standard norm for the rest of eternity, right? Or however long the world stays. And so now you're going to see things, less people going out, less bigger events. You'll still see big events, but I don't know. It's going to be a very interesting thing, man. I just really think virtual experiences, I think they're going to find a way to get you to virtually, like a VR headset to a show, you know, because dude, it's so, like, not a knock on anybody that's doing live stream concerts, but it's not anything close. It's just a get me by. Right.
And it's just a nicotine patch. That's all it is.
Boom. But if you could get that VR thing and you could be there, you know, because these VR things are getting trippy scary, dude. Like, you put those things on and you lose all of your senses. You are like, I am in a game.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when we were at Scoop's house doing that shark virtual one, and that was wild.
Yeah, shout out to Scoop. I still have shit in my pants from that, dude. That was so scary, dude. If you do shark VR, do not eat before. Like, dude, that was so scary, man. Like, shark VR.
I was scared just watching it. I didn't even have the headset on, and then he's like, "Okay, you ready to put it on?" I'm like,
Yeah, you
Man, I don't
watched
like
me
the-
go first, and I wouldn't look down, dude. I was like, nope, I'm not looking down, man. I don't even want to see what's under me. But
Yeah.
it makes you feel, and dude, that's just the beginning of that technology, right? So, like, it makes you feel like you're.
I mean, I believe it could happen. I mean, did you hear about Post Malone? He's doing a concert in Pokemon, like a virtual concert of some kind.
That is so Post Malone. I'm
Yeah.
so remarkably consistent for him. That's awesome. Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I think you're right. I think they'll see a big shift in how they connect, and I think they'll do it in a fast way. It's just gonna That's gonna suck that if we in 5 or 10 years, if this becomes the norm, we're gonna look back. I'm like, man, we were so close, and then it stopped.
Well, I think it's going to take a hell of a long time to phase out touring and to phase out club shows because, dude, I mean, nothing beats that type of when you've experienced your favorite artist and you get to see it in that electricity that just goes off with all that energy from people. There's nothing like it, man. And people chase that dragon a lot. That's why they go to these EDM clubs. That's why they go out and see local music all the time, is because such a fun thing to do. So I think it's going to take, I don't think we'll see that maybe in our lifetime,
No, I mean, especially
you
like in
know?
Florida. I mean, Florida's wide open. I could see them to start doing tours in just like the 3 or 4 big cities over there.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at all the tours right now, man, they're like in those type of states, right? And I think
Yeah, exactly.
we have one that like in Wisconsin. Yeah, there's Life Fest in Wisconsin that we're playing coming up. And that trips me out because it's a hardcore Democratic state. And it's a Christian festival, and it's like Christians and Democrats ain't really getting along right now, much
Yeah.
less a Democratic state hosting a Christian festival that has lots of people there, that has lots of Christian people gathering and listening to, like, it that seems like an anomaly itself that it's happening. Super stoked it's happening. Shout out to
Yeah.
Life Fest, but it's still kind of weird, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
So, I mean, there's interesting things, man. I mean, we're just what it really is, dude, is like I don't think anybody knows like where we're headed from here, because if you would have told me 2020 was going to happen in 2019, I'd have been like, "Oh gosh, dude, lay off the tin foil hat, like
Yeah.
don't put that on too tight, dude."
I just want to know what's happening next month.
That's what it is. What is happening next? What is happening next month? What is happening tomorrow? I mean, shit, if you would have told me it was going to snow 2 weeks ago, I would have did the same thing.
I know. I remember when my dad called him up. He's like, "Okay, by the way, you need to go and get prepared because it's gonna, snow. It's gonna get below." I'm like, "No, it's not. They've been saying that for years." And then lo and behold, we're shut down for a whole week. I mean, my office, no one went to the office. I mean, a lot of our clients, they either lost power or just weren't going to the office at all. So it's like I never would have seen that coming, in a million years.
Well, dude, the week prior, I'm like rolling, doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I'm like doing cardio outside. I'm like, oh man, this is amazing. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, I'm trapped in my house again. Like, just spent 8 months doing this in 2020. Now I'm
I
here, and
know.
like, yeah, I don't know. It was just super crazy stuff. But where do we go from here, man? And nothing surprises us anymore.
No, it's like, okay, what's next?
What's next? Bring it on. We're numb to it, uncomfortably numb to it.
Unfortunately.
So, do you think there's any not to change topic here, but do you think there's any like I feel like things have died down politically, not completely, but I feel like since the riots, obviously the Black Lives Matter protests, George Floyd, I'm just going backwards here.
I don't think it's necessarily died down. I think it's become less in your face from a news informative standpoint. I think it's because we don't have anyone in the Oval Office who's always on Twitter and just bouncing off and just saying whatever he says.
Valid point.
I think we're seeing more of that like in the background. I think we'll see some major things for the next couple months. But I think things are going to start to die down. I think right now what everyone's focused on, at least from a general perspective, is what Biden is actually going to come through and do from all the promises that he said, right before he took office, like on the student debt. I don't know if you've been keeping up with that.
Yeah, the student debt pressure. Mm-hmm.
So basically he was saying like, hey, we're going to erase anyone with $50,000 worth of student debt. And then now he's saying it's like, oh, we're only going to do like maybe 10,000 for certain individuals and stuff like that. He was talking about let's raise the minimum wage to $15. Now it's come out that that is not going to be on the new stimulus package.
Oh, so the $15 an hour is not going to be.
No.
Well, how about that?
And here's like, I know there's two schools of thought on that. Like, one is like, hey, it's great. No one needs to survive on $7.25 alone, which I do agree with. But there's also, context for that as well. And then the other hand is, okay, well, how is that doable for small businesses? It's easy to say, and I was talking with my team from the office today because we're talking about something else. And one of the things I said is, it's easy to say, let's go and do this. It's another to propose a plan of how it's going to affect all these different areas and then make the decision to move forward with that.
Right. So obviously, what, $7.25 is the minimum wage, right?
Yes.
So going to 15 an hour is more than double that, because double would be $14.50. So 15 hours is more than double that. So you're essentially paying per 1 hour 2 employees worth of pay. So now you are requiring, if that happens, that your employer pay out more, but you expect the prices to stay the same. It changes the entire game. So yes, your employees should be paid more, but now McDonald's burgers, there ain't no dollar menu no more. Everything rises. Because why? Because if they don't do that, then
so
those
my
two
pushback
employees
on that is big corporations and big companies, they can afford to do that because they'll find some way to, because they still want to make money. They still want to keep the same customers. They'll find some way to keep the prices, but something's either going to go down. They're going to have less employees or they're going to have less quality of product.
Yeah, so if this was pitched more towards big corporations, it makes sense because you go, oh, you got more overhead, you can actually afford this. But what a lot of people forget is, like with corporations, let's use McDonald's as instance. A lot of these are franchised out. So they have a local owner that pays a percentage to McDonald's. And so McDonald's goes, you can use the name, you can use the product, we'll set you up here, but we're taking 26%, 18% off top, and you have to sustain. Well, how does that local person make, his profit to be a business owner? Well, he has to work on the labor hours. He has to work on the product shipments. Are we dishing enough out per hour that we can afford Jimmy and Becca's wage right over here? And so it only hurts that person. It's not really going to hurt the corporation. You're going to see a lot of franchises, not McDonald's as a whole, but a lot of locations start to shut down. Or what you are going to see, in my opinion, is that you're going to see a lot less employees to keep these franchises sustainable. And
it's not for professional companies. Like if you work in, let's say, an IT, engineering, construction, stuff like that, you're already getting paid above minimum wage.
Right. Yeah, you're getting a trade wage.
So it's going to affect for like more service based. So let's say like your favorite donut shop. Like so, for instance, here in Fort Worth, my favorite donut shop is Funky Town Donuts. There's no way they're paying anyone like $20 an hour.
Bro,
it's not disrespect, but it's like you guys are just making donuts, and I mean that in the most honest way possible. So it's like donut shops hours should be 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. and 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. Dude, oh my God. I mean, I know so many people, bro, after a night out at the club or the bar, man, they are like, I wish I had a donut, bro. Yeah, and you're not going to Whataburger because you'll be backed up for another hour.
Right, yeah, Whataburger might as well just be like a drive-in, dude. Like, oh my gosh, that thing.
Every time I've come out from a late shift bartending, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stop for Whataburger. I stop there, I get in line. I haven't even hit to order my thing yet, and it's been like 20 minutes. I'm like, dude, I'm just going home.
Last time I was at Whataburger, this is a true story. I'm not even going to say the location. I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But last time I was at Whataburger. It had to have been 3 a.m. in the morning. They're open 24 hours. Shout out Whataburger, you're dope for that. And I'm finally getting my way to the longest line. I'm finally getting up to order my food. There's a guy in front of me, and I'm like, oh, what is taking this dude so long, man? And he's like, and you can just hear him from the car, and he goes, wait 1 moment. She goes, okay, sir. She's literally been waiting for 5 minutes for him to order. He gets out and takes a piss right next to that dude, like did not care, just letting the stream flow. And there's like, everyone's like, people are honking the horn. I'm in tears laughing because I just can't believe this is real life. And that is Whataburger at 3 a.m. If you can finally make it to get your order, you might see some dude take a piss in front of you. Sorry, I don't know why I told that story, but it's true, man. It's 100% true.
Anytime after 11, that's all I want is either a chicken biscuit or a bacon jalapeno, egg sandwich, and it's like you get to that point, you waited 20 minutes, and it's like you either wait for an hour for your meal and then you've got heaven in your hands, or you just wave on heaven by and say, okay, I'll catch you on the next route.
Bro, it's the best. And this is such an overused joke, and I don't even mean it jokingly, but why do I want Chick-fil-A so bad on a Sunday? And they're not open. I know this already, but I rarely eat Chick-fil-A. Dope sandwich. I think it's great.
Better. I
want it on
one of these days. If we broke in and just fried some, it would taste better than you get any other day of the week.
Bro, I bet on Sundays, dude, they rid all the shit out of there. They get it out and they just put like those stage props like in houses that you go to like tour. It's like fake chicken sandwiches everywhere that they got like ink in them when somebody goes to like eat them. Probably
like you eat it and trigger something, a sign falls
right,
like,
just explodes, just like right. Yeah, exactly. I bet they're prepped for that in some fashion. Because
absolutely.
Dude, I don't get it with me, man. I'm like, of all days that I want Chick-fil-A, because I don't know why, but it never is like my first go-to. My first go-to will forever be like Chipotle or Outback Steakhouse. Get a nice freaking sirloin, bro. Nothing beats that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, well, nothing else is open. Well, is Chick-fil-A open? And every time I ask that question, it's on a Sunday. It's the damnedest thing.
Absolutely.
I know. And I'm
how
like,
many times like we've been on tour and I was like, we should get Chick-fil-A, and you're like, it's Sunday, dum-dum.
I'm just like, do they not love money? Because on Sunday they would just be rolling in it. Like whoever owns like John Chick-fil-A would just be rolling in dollar bills on Sunday, dude. Like
I'm pretty sure they're already rolling in hundreds of $100 bills.
Yeah.
The amount they make. I mean, look, they can do no wrong at this point.
They can't. You're right. I mean, dude, what they don't even have the most impressive menu. It's literally all chicken sandwiches and some.
And if you think about it, it's not even fried chicken.
Well,
it's breaded chicken.
It's breaded chicken. Yeah, right.
I mean, here in the South, I wouldn't really consider like, oh, you want a fried chicken sandwich? I'm like, oh, that's a breaded chicken sandwich.
Well, since we're on the chicken sandwich subject, did you ever get to try Popeye's chicken sandwich?
I tried. They were.
What was all the
gone.
fuss about that?
I think that was nonsense.
What a trash!
Like, Wendy's has come out and said we've got the new improved chicken sandwich.
It's like this chicken war, dude. It was like, what is going on here? Like, no one's gonna come close to God's chicken at Chick-fil-A.
No,
like, what do you?
No, I'm pretty sure I think they put crack in their flour.
Who, Popeyes?
No, Chick-fil-A.
I was like, that is so random, Micah.
Hey, we got to compete some way, okay?
I didn't like your chicken sandwich, Popeyes, because you put crack in it and you just throw it down and leave. It's like, but no, you could be right, man, because like there is like when you bite into a Chick-fil-A sandwich, you're like, this was not a sucky decision at all. Right? It's kind of the same way I feel about Hobby Lobby. I'm just kidding. I'd ever feel that way about that place. Every time I walk into that place, I just feel like I'm at grandma's again. I'm like,
absolutely. It doesn't even smell like grandma's too.
It does, dude. And you always think, you're like, I think my grandma just shops at Hobby Lobby for everything. Like, dude, what if you, with the most like disappointing thing, you get like this card in the mail for like your birthday or something, and it's just a Hobby Lobby gift card. But it's like for $1,000, dude. You're just like to Hobby Lobby.
I'd still be like, what am I gonna do with this? What can you even get at Hobby Lobby?
You just go try to sell it, and everyone just like gives you the bird. They're like, "How dare you? Like, why would you try to sell this to me? Like, what am I gonna go buy the dopest frame ever?"
That's the only thing. Like, let me get a wood project and just paint that and stamp.
Dude, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm so ignorant when it comes to Hobby Lobby. I don't even know what they sell. I just imagine it would be frames. Like,
I feel like it's like Lego style model planes and stuff. Like you got
really?
like a billion pieces they get a glue and put together. I'm like, why am I spending a whole Saturday doing this?
And they're always next to Chick-fil-A's. Like,
Yeah, isn't that a weird thing?
they just know that market. Is there a Hobby Lobby over there? Put a Chick-fil-A over there and close that shit on Sunday. Oh my God.
So funny.
Well, hey, if you're a Democrat or Republican, you love chicken and you might like Hobby Lobby. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just trying to find a connection there.
Anything else you want to go over before we start wrapping up?
Oh, dude. Man, I had a ton of stuff, but whatever. Oh yeah, I do want to say, thank you for everybody for supporting us up to this point. Next episode, we get to do something super freaking cool. We have our first and very first guest on this show, and his name is Jonathan Lee. He hails from the great state of Colorado, and he's writing a book called The Human Connection. He was generous enough to send Micah and I the introduction to this book, the first 4 chapters. I'm absolutely blown away, and I'm no spoilers, but I really think this message needs to be heard. It's a very important message. I think that the world needs to listen to more than ever these days. And we get the man himself on our podcast next show, episode 4, to talk about this book. And we get to ask him some questions. And maybe if we can talk him into it, he'll share a little bit of that book. But and if not, it's okay. But seriously, think about it. And no, I'm super stoked for that. And anything you want to say on that, Micah, go for it, dude.
I think it's just exciting to have a first guest ever, just in general, because we've talked about it for a long time. We've finally been able to get to that point, and it's gonna be a lot different because, like, I know, for instance, like a lot of the stuff that he's gonna be bringing up, we're gonna have a lot of like pushback, just because we want to make sure that anyone that we have on this show that they're feel welcome to say anything they want to say, but at the same time, we're going to call it anything that we think is BS.
Yeah.
And make sure that they present an argument, and we do the same thing too. And then also, we apologize that we haven't been on consistent the last week. We just had a lot of stuff going on, especially with the blizzard and power and electricity.
Life gets in the way, man.
Yeah. We're trying to keep this consistent. I've been having some scheduling things myself, just trying to figure out. So I'm trying to get that squared away. But no, I'm excited. We're going to try to have more guests soon. I'm going to talk to Pat. There's someone else that I want to start bringing on in the next couple weeks that I have totally blanked on his name. But it'll come to me that I just thought about today. But I'm excited.
One guest at a time, Micah.
Yeah,
one guest at a time.
Let's see if we can make this work first.
Yeah, no, it's cool. What's cool is we had a pre-production meeting with Jonathan, and he's not what you would think as your cookie cutter or just your stereotypical type of author, right? I mean, he's gung-ho about this message, and I feel like he has the gift for explaining it to the fullest extent in the most articulate and consistent, I guess, way of presenting his product. So can't say enough about the guy. I've known him for years. Super stoked that he's doing this.
I didn't even know that it was him. Like, I was like, this guy looks super familiar. Like, I felt like I met him before.
Yeah, you met him.
I was like, oh yeah, I met you right after that show that we.
Well, I think that was the first and only time y'all had ever met, though. Up to that point,
that's true.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I'm so bad with faces. If that was the first time I've only met somebody. But no, other than that, the world's still crazy. I still believe aliens are real, and nothing's gonna change
Speaking
that.
Of that, when is that?
So I heard in 5.5 months they're supposed to. They have a deadline to.
Is it that long? I thought it was sooner than that.
Well, maybe I don't know. Look that up real quick. But for people that don't know, it was Marco Rubio was the one that put the hex on this. He was like, dude, y'all need to come out with all the documentations, unredacted, all the stuff about aliens and what we know about them and what the government knows.
I'm trying to figure out what it was under. Do you remember who was the one that's supposed to be
Marco Rubio, right?
Let's see. See if
aliens is such a touchy topic.
180 days from from December 27th, so that's what. Probably another 2 or 3 months.
2 or 3 months. Okay, so obviously the article I read was 2 or 3 months old. So
Oh, and then also one of the things we need to get back on when the next episodes is some updates with Ghislaine Maxwell.
dude, the countdown to July is upon us. Or is it June?
Mhm.
I don't know. I got to get back to my notes. It's like
Yeah.
July or June or something. But dude, I am so stoked for that because that has been why has that been so hush? What are they trying to cover up, man? We obviously know.
Okay, something else that popped up, and I'm not going to take too long of this, and I don't know if it is true. This is just hearsay, like we hear a lot of things are.
Oh, I want to hear and say it. Come on.
The person that did like the 60 Minutes on her or whatever, something along those lines, the journalist,
He's
said,
dead. Oh, sorry.
no, even better.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
He says that when he talked to Ghislaine Maxwell, that she said that she had videotapes of both Clinton and Trump.
Whoa.
And that she didn't release the Trump one because of something like she didn't want Trump to lose the election, something along those lines, like Clinton did. It didn't make a lot of sense, but at the same time, it made you kind of think, okay, well, what if there's something like that? But
what if? I just want to see. Okay, so before we wrap up on this, I gotta say, obviously we know there's some tapes out there somewhere that have somebody in them doing something they don't want to see. I mean, since the dawn of hearing about Jeffrey Epstein, we've heard about these tapes, and obviously we know he had blackmail on so many people that he had to have some factual proof and video representation of this stuff because concrete evidence was his thing that he said he had on everybody. So, I mean, dude, there it is. Oh my God, I want that painting.
Says I have no knowledge of Epstein's sex crimes.
Maxwell's 59.
Okay, but where's the article I saw where they talked about the videos?
The CIA deleted it, Micah.
Probably. Just like they deleted the video of the snow not melting here.
Just like they deleted dinosaurs.
Delete.
Alleged Epstein. Oh,
my bad.
Epstein. Screw that one up. Would you like to subscribe for us, Micah?
No.
Would you like to give away our email?
Absolutely not.
Ghislaine. Are these recent articles?
Yeah.
Okay, I need to dig back
16.
into this. Since July 6th, her attorney has been physically searched 1,400 times. Physically searched.
Sad day.
That dude's not sad about that. I mean, after 1,000, you're just like, go for it.
All right, well, I can't find that article. I'll have to find it again. But yeah, that's an update that we definitely
hold
need to
the phone. Click that article one more time. I just saw something major, dude. If this is true, oh yeah, stop right there. Oh, go back up. Oh no, you're good. Top stories to the right. Kim Kardashian files for divorce for Kanye West.
Yeah. Yeah, that came out, I think, yesterday or the day before.
That's legit happening.
Yeah.
Dude, she wanted him to be president so bad. The minute he failed, she was like, I'm done. I'm out.
That, and I think he's got some issues that he's really gotta talk to someone and get some help.
Well, did you ever get to hear him on the Joe Rogan podcast? It was like the only podcast I've listened to him ever do.
I got about 2/3 through, and he just went on so many rabbit holes and tangents that I just mentally could not keep up with what was happening.
So here's one of my favorite things about YouTube that I just recently discovered is they have playback speed. And on on playback speed, I went to 0.75 and it's the greatest now. You play it on normal, your head's, it's like that first Alex Jones one, dude. You just can't, you don't have enough brain capacity to comprehend. But I played that sucker back on 0.75 and actually got to slow down and hear him. And it takes a lot of effort. But man, I really got to understand that guy. And at this point in my life, I can say that I think Kanye West is quite misunderstood, man. I think the guy has a lot of good ideas. It's just like people with great ideas that can't articulate them, because in order to be the perfect politician, you must be a statesman and you must talk like this and use big words like discombobulated notions on the Intel Pentium processor. I don't know, just make shit up. But that's not how he talks. And so it kind of gets lost in translation. Like he's trying to spitball so much information at once that it's just like, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you hit that 0.75, it's more like,
He needs a translator on his team. He needs someone that like, hey, this is how I'm talking. This is what I'm trying to explain. How do I get that across so people actually understand that? I think that if he did that, he would be in a better spot for people to understand what is Kanye West.
well, could you imagine if Kanye West got Barack Obama to translate for him? Because Obama
That
was
would work.
probably one of the best speech statesmen people, not anything I think he did, but just the way he talked, the way he presented things. If Kanye West could present what he wants to put into motion, his ideas, his policy ideas and stuff, in the way that Barack Obama spoke, dude. I mean, I think
you know what he is? He's the what am I thinking of? Head guy of SpaceX and Tesla, Elon Musk.
Right?
I think he's on the same lines of Elon Musk. I think the difference is, you've met people that they have great ideas, but they don't really have the best idea of how to approach them and actually implement them.
Yeah, dude, you can find them at the bar at Chili's.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mainly Applebee's, but Chili's has the.
Oh yeah, Applebee's at that late night happy hour. You'll find them all there.
And then you've got the ones that have those ideas, and they either find a way to get those implemented, or they surround themselves with people that know how to do that.
Well, when you say like a politician, it's just somebody that just had the balls to go as far as they did, or I'm sorry, the courage, AOC, to go as far as they did. I mean, they were somebody that had those great ideas, but so many people doubt themselves. But I look at all these politicians, like at least they had the courage to hit that next level, keep going, the confidence to keep going, right? I think that's what. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying. I think to rephrase it. I think what the difference between him and Elon Musk is, Elon Musk has the, I don't want to say education because that's not the right word. He has the knowledge of like, okay, this is how I would implement it, and what's the best way to do it. Versus he's got these great ideas, like he wants to have sustainable energy. He wants to set up these communities where people actually get taught. He wants to help low income. But the issue is, okay, well, how does he go about doing that?
Right.
I haven't done enough research to see what he's actually accomplished in his plans. Versus like when you listen to like Elon Musk, I mean, he's already, what's that? Is it Starlink? His new
Neuralink.
No. There's a new thing he's trying to do where he's trying to give everyone basically like, I don't know if it's free, but basically really good internet connection from anywhere in the world.
Really?
So I think he's got like 32 satellites up in the sky.
Interesting. Okay.
So like, if you're trying to say like, hey, he wants to give anyone, no matter how much money you make or what area you live in, he give the same freedom to be able to learn, educate, and have access to information. He went out and did it.
I'm so surprised I missed that because, well, I'm not surprised. I actually know why I missed that. I've been so invested in Elon Musk and his Dogecoin stuff right now that I'm missing this Starlink thing, which is probably way more important right now. But I've just been
posted of the Dogecoin
to the moon, bro. To the freaking moon, it needs to go. Like, come on, baby. I'm invested in it. $2, but whatever. And but no, I mean, like, yeah, but this Starlink thing, dude, the guy is constantly coming up. No one can shit on Elon Musk. He is constantly coming up with innovation. The guy sent rockets to space and they landed where they shot off. Till anybody can do that, shut up on bagging Elon Musk because there's nothing you can say about that guy that I'm going to believe, because unless you can outsmart him and the things and there's people that shit all over him on Twitter, dude. They're just like, they're just like, oh, blah, blah, blah. I got this to say about you. And I'm like, now one of you dudes sent rockets to space. Not one. And maybe if there is one, they didn't land where they took off. Until you can do that, Dogecoin to the moon.
Dogecoin to the moon.
Dogecoin to the moon.
All right, man. That's going to be our title. We're going to call it Dogecoin to the moon.
Dude, I've heard so many different names for it. Doggy coin, Dogecoin. That's my favorite one. Dogecoin. It's like they're trying to make it like a fine wine. It's like,
man, I'm about to start getting into the investing world just so I can hop on some of these crazy stuff that happens. 'Cause
Dude,
my
just join the groups. The groups are the best because they're just
Yeah.
meme groups with rich people that have time to make them. Like literally it, man. Like people that just day trading all day and making memes. Day trading, making memes. I'm
That's
like,
what a
dude,
lot
this
of my
is-
friends like. We're part of a meme group, but they're always using abbreviations, and I like go away from my phone, come back in an hour, and I've got 20 messages. I'm like, I don't know what any of this means, and they're talking about like Dogecoin. I think was when it first came out. I was like,
Oh yeah.
the hell is that?
Well, dude, it's made people a ton of money, man. I'm always the person in stocks, bro. Always the person when it comes to stocks that I'm always a day late and a dollar short. Literally.
Yeah,
And like, and so I'm like, oh, I don't want to invest in this, man, because it's like worth 2
yesterday.
cents.
Yeah.
And then the next day it's like worth $200 and some dude's a millionaire and he's like, they all laughed at me. You know? Like cryptos, dude. What you do, we'll have to do an episode on cryptos. I'm so ready. I have a great dude that I know would come on our show too. We need to do that.
Yeah, because I need a good
Yeah.
explanation.
Yeah, dude. His name's Bill Gates. You ever heard of him? I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Not
totally.
friends with you, Bill Gates.
He wants to turn us all into lizards.
Oh yeah, that's right. And he's buying up land and freaking telling us to eat processed or 3D printed meat.
I
What is
forgot to
it?
put that on the list. Yeah,
Yes.
he wants everyone to move to synthetic meat. Okay, just the word synthetic. No,
Ugh.
no,
And then following it with meat. Like,
absolutely not. I
you
already
had
have.
any?
I stay 2 feet away from the grocery store when I see the Beyond Meat or whatever it's called.
Beyond meat. Ugh.
Yeah,
I feel like if you put any
No.
word in front of meat, you are already losing.
it's not
it's
meat.
just-
Call it something else.
Like wet meat. Like like like
Just
anything.
ground protein. Just call it that.
ground protein. There you
Because
go.
it
Yeah,
better
or
have
just,
some good protein in it or something.
good lord.
Anyway, we'll have to talk about that because he's buying I think he's the largest land owner or cattle land owner I think in the U.S. now.
Oh wow, doesn't surprise me.
And you're telling me to eat synthetic steak?
See,
Eat
that's what
my ass.
that is what pisses me off, right? Is like some rich dude that's just like, I have the money to go out and buy all the land and all this stuff, and then he turns around and he goes, now let me tell you what to do. And you're just like, oh, stop it now. You know, you're just like, dude, not only did you buy my grandma's land from her from pennies on the dollar, now you're telling me what to eat. Like synthetic meat. That's
Get outta
your
here, bro.
follow-up. Oh my god, that guy is just
out of here.
so far removed from reality. You can be so rich and just forget you're a human. Straight up.
Wild times, bro. Wild times. Well, thank you for everyone who's been listening. We're excited about this new season, this new year. We'll see what happens next month. Maybe we'll get another blizzard. Maybe blizzard will take over the world, and we'll end up being a Snowpiercer.
I'm down. It was a great movie.
As anyways, if you're listening to this, you are part of the Guilty Party now. You're one of us, and we are signing out.
Love you guys. Thank you.
All right. Bye, y'all.
See ya.